So I discovered some crosses over there in the forest. Let's try to drive there.
Almost to the day this genocide took place in 1995, that still shakes the life of the people in the region, as well as the woman I met. She lost 2 of her sons in the war, and one of them was presumably killed during the massacre in Srebrenica.
My sadness is going to hurt me until I'm buried, nor will I ever forget, and I can't ever forgive.
The killings are considered the biggest genocide in Europe after the Second World War and happened during the brutal Bosnian War that lasted from 1992 to 1995, a complex conflict that tore apart the former Yugoslavia. In the midst of all of this, the town of Srebrenica became a tragic symbol for international failure. And this is Srebrenica today.
First thing that welcomes you here in Srebrenica is the Serbian flag. Serbian flag over there.
It belongs to the Republic Srpska, one part in Bosnia and Herzegovina that is mostly inhabited by Serbs. During the war, things look differently here.
93, 93, 93, 93.
In 1993, during the war, this small town in eastern Bosnia and Herzegovina was declared a United Nations safe area. The purpose of this designation was to provide protection to the Bosniaks, mostly Muslims, who sought refuge from the conflict. So a UN peacekeeping force was deployed to Srebrenica to ensure the safety and well-being of the people. However, despite these efforts, the UN ultimately failed to prevent the massacre that would unfold. So this is what Julia is going to be telling us about. She lives only a few minutes away from Srebrenica.
Actually, we are very close to Serbia. We just passed the border, yeah? I'm a little nervous this morning.
Because I just didn't know what to expect with this story. When we arrived, everything was different, almost like I was visiting my own grandma.
Hey, hallo, hallo. Hallo. Guten Tag. Hallo, guten Tag. Ein bisschen Deutsch auch? Doch, eine ganze Kleinigkeit.
We wanted to talk about her past, but also cook something, so Julia suggested to do the national dish, Bosnian meat pie.
Crazy, it looks like just like a little skin, like a super thin layer. And she said it's important to not tear it apart, I should not touch it.
My mother told me one day how to make the pie. First she made me prepare the dough. I get my hands all sticky with it like it was mud. Then the dough had little cuts. She tells me you don't do it like that. Do it like this. That's how I learned. That's right. Come on, try it. You want to be a chef, do you? Those are the walnut trees. Up there you can see the apple trees.
Ah, there's all the apples, yeah. And you have such a beautiful land here.
This here is the grave of my husband's brother. I'll be buried here as well one day. Let me just quickly say a prayer.
What a quiet and peaceful place by the river Drina they have.
And I also find it beautiful here. You see how beautiful the nature is around here. And you don't need a doctor. You have the hill from that side and the water of the river Drina. There is no factories, it's a really healthy life.
Another village in Bosnia was in ruins.
In the 90s, it was one of the most dangerous places to be in Bosnia. Over 100,000 people got killed during this war.
They would just surround us from the mountains. We used to sleep in the forest for months at a time. Well, I can't really talk about it here at home. In any case, they started going around with their weapons in hand, and they were looking for all the men and the boys. And one of my neighbors asked me, "Where are your sons?" And I told him they are in the forest. And he asked me to bring them into the basement, back to the house. I tell him, "Is that so? Why? So it's easier for you to catch them?" He said, "It's not like that."
In Srebrenica and the entire region, these days in the July of 1995, was a series of brutal and very cruel events that saw many people killed, and it directly affected Julia.
My sadness is going to hurt me until I'm buried, nor will I ever forget, and I can't ever forgive, because now I'm like a person with no eyes. My sons were the two apples of my eyes. Now they are gone. So what hope do I have? What kind of life?
Srebrenica was doomed. The Bosnian government had realized that nobody in the West, not even their most ardent supporter, would lift a finger to save it.
So why exactly did the UN fail in Srebrenica? First of all, the whole operation was really severely understaffed and ill-equipped to protect the people. And then there was a decisive lack of political will among certain UN member states to take decisive actions. And the general on the other side understood this and took advantage of this. In July 1995, more than 8,000 Bosniak men and boys were killed in what was classified as an act of genocide. So the consequences of the UN's failure in Srebrenica were devastating. Perpetrators, like victims, still live in this region. And this is the reality for so many people that still live there. They have a common history they share, whether they like it or not.
Yes, there are people that aren't guilty of anything, but they don't dare to say it, even if they were forced to. They were told if you don't do what we tell you, both you and your family will be killed. And they just had to do it.
The memorial a few kilometers from Srebrenica is depressing and huge, but a place of remembrance for Julia.
You know, around the time of Eid, at the end of Ramadan, it's hardest for me. During those days, I can't even speak, I can't do anything. I visit one of them here for that holiday to say a prayer for him, then I visit the other one and do the same for him. There is simply no greater grief than this. You can't convey it to anyone. May God spare everyone from mourning their child.
Let me know what you think of Julia's story and this video, subscribe, and until next time on WorldWideWhat.